to be here, and then on top of that, are here on time. So thank you, it means a lot. I know a lot of you here, and then there are some that I don't know, and then I see some returning faces from our All In series. I'm Lisa Cupid, and I serve as Chairwoman of Cobb County, and we began this All In series at the top of this year to better educate citizens about our work so that as we're addressing policy, we can be better partners in how we tackle it from not only from a policy perspective, but from a financial perspective, because these are your tax dollars at work. And I think it's important for you to understand how they're being utilized and to be able to, oh, I'm sorry, I need to be on camera. We're doing this virtually today. I keep walking because I want to be closer. I want to be closer, but sorry to be so far away now. Can the camera see me? Hello, all of you who are here in person and all of you who are online. Is this the camera here? Okay, thank you for joining us today. Again, this gives us a wonderful opportunity to connect with residents as we talk about important work that's here in the county and that we do it with those that allow us to do this work, which is our citizens. This is our third series. Our first one we had on our finance and budget, and I can tell you that this is probably the smoothest budget season we've had, and it could be for a number of reasons, but I'd like to think that those that have probably had a lot more challenging questions to ask did have the privilege of asking those tough questions during this kind of meeting, where it's not just a hearing, where we have hearings when we make policy decisions, it's typically one-sided, it's not a dialogue. Tonight you can ask questions and get feedback, which I think is important. Our second meeting was with respect to economic development and workforce development, and same kind of setup. We had people learn about what we're doing here in the county, learn about services that they themselves can participate in, and also learned how there are resources out there that can help them as well. And tonight I'm very excited because this topic came up during our first meeting, but we had a lot of people express interest in sustainability. And I thought the best person to share that update and topic with you would be our Chief Sustainability Officer, Ms. Kimberly White. And so I'd like to ask her to please come up front. And she's coming, and there are some important people here I want to recognize. First, I saw her boss here. Oh, hi, Director Gibson. She is the Director of Public Services. If we can just give her an applause for being here tonight. And we also have a board that helps to address sustainability issues. Keep Cobb Beautiful. I don't know if you want to give them a shout out, but anybody who's here a part of that board, please stand. I see you. Yes, at least a couple of you. Very good. Thank you so much. Oh, 3 of you here tonight. Thank you. So you guys are the most committed board members for being here. And I hope I'm not missing out on anyone else. Oh, I have to shout out a special guest. This is such a good topic that we have actually brought out the first man of Cobb County, Mr. Craig Cupid. Can you raise your hand? Thank you for being here tonight, dear. With that, I'm going to turn things over to you, Kimberly. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Chairwoman Cupid. I really appreciate getting the opportunity to talk to you guys this evening about sustainability. I always kind of joke, like I'm like a Baptist preacher, like, you know, you give me the opportunity to speak about what I am really passionate about, and I'm never going to turn you down. And matter of fact, just FYI, I had to shorten my slides, and I have 25 slides. I shortened them just to try to get everything condensed into what we're going to talk about this evening. Also, by the time everybody leaves, you guys are going to be experts. Like, we'll all be Chief Sustainability Officers by the time we leave this evening. Okay, so once again, my name is Kimberly White. I'm the Chief Sustainability Officer here in Cobb County. And I would like to talk about a little bit about our structure. So what does that look like? So I run the Office of Sustainability. Keep Cobb Beautiful sits in my department with me. We are under Sustainability, Waste, and Beautification. And then also we sit under the umbrella of the Public Services Agency. And my boss, again, in the back, please raise your hand. She's the Director of Public Services Agency. Okay, so our office is mighty but small. We have 9 people that work in our office, and we have 4 units. And so our units consist of operations, environmental education, recycling, and then special projects. So oftentimes we'll have interns that are with us to kind of help us do special projects. For any of you guys in the audience, are you guys familiar with the Litter Index Survey? Yes, okay. Our interns usually help us do that. And if you're not familiar with the Litter Index Survey, I'd like to get you familiar with the Litter Index Survey. You could come out and volunteer the next time we have one of those events. I promise we will not make you run around the county. We put you on a bus and it's air conditioned, and we drive you around. And then we score the county on litter, graffiti, if we see illegal dump sites or tires or something like that. Okay, so what do we do in the Office of Sustainability? Well, basically our mission is to manage the county's environmental resources, economy, and equity to provide a sustainable community. We're also balancing the needs of today without compromising future generations, right? So we do 3 main things. The Office of Sustainability is new. We were created in 2023. Thank you so much, Chairwoman Cupid. And we focus on 3 things right now. Our sustainability strategic plan, our EV infrastructure. I see the director of fleet just walked in, Al Curtis. Raise your hand. Say hello to everyone. I work really closely with a lot of departments. Fleet is one of those departments where we're working to put in some EV infrastructure throughout the county. And then we worked on our Charm Center. And does anyone know what Charm stands for? Yay! Okay, wait a minute though, your industry, like this. Okay, so yes, so that's what it stands for. It's a place where people can drop off items that traditionally you can't put curbside or in your recycling bin or in your garbage can. So what are we gonna focus on today? We're gonna define sustainability success. What does that look like? Current opportunities and trends that we have going on in the sustainability industry in here in Cobb, challenges, the roadmap framework, our action plan, and then next steps and questions. Okay, why does sustainability success matter? Well, here's why it matters. It matters for 5 main reasons. 1, it ensures the availability of natural resources for future generations. 2, it promotes social equity. 3, it creates economic benefits for the community and for businesses and for all of us. It addresses climate change, pollution, and resource depletion. But most importantly, I think this is the one thing that most of us don't get when we talk about sustainability, is that it ensures that the earth can continue to provide our needs for us as the current population and provide the needs of future generations. Now, here's why that's really, really important. Sometimes you may hear like your friends or your family or your neighbors say things like, well, all of this stuff that's happening in the world is cyclical. We have earthquakes and there are forest fires and there are all these things that happen, and they happen all the time, and then, the earth bounces back. Yes, the earth bounces back. But let me ask you a question. Did anybody pass any dinosaurs on the way here? No, because the earth has a way of shedding itself of the things that are causing problems. Over a long time, right? Takes centuries to do this, but it does happen. So our job is to ensure that we're doing everything that we can do to make sure our future generations survive. Pretty much that's what I do. I make sure that we all survive. Yay! So, what are our current opportunities and our trends? Well, the current sustainability trends and opportunities are increased focus on a circular economy. I know that's kind of a term that we talk about a lot in this industry. Adoption of renewable energy and sustainable technologies. Driving green innovation. That's something else that we focus on. And, believe it or not, using AI to create solutions for sustainability issues. So in Cobb County specifically, we are expanding our recycling opportunities. We're going to talk about that a little bit on the next slide. We have an integrated governmental structure. I am so excited about this integrated governmental structure. Let me tell you why. Because about a year ago, about 9 departments in the county decided to get together and create our Cobb County Sustainability Committee. And it's an internal committee that we talk about measures and things that we're working on in all these different departments, making sure that we align ourselves with each other so that we can be successful, so that Cobb County can be sustainable and successful. Also, we were successfully awarded the EECBG, that is the Energy Efficiency Community Block Grant. Thank you. A big shout out and thank you to my boss, Dr. Jatan Gibson, who was so patient, helped us write the application, and helped us get that through the process. We were successful and received over $500,000 to do 3 main things: build a sustainability strategic plan, update our current EV infrastructure, and bring in an EV beam arc, which Fleet helped us do. And we have a solar-powered electric vehicle charging station that can charge multiple vehicles and is actually mobile, so that's really cool. And then also create our mini charm center. And we're gonna talk about that a little bit more as well. And if you guys in the room haven't been to the new drop-off, you have to go to the new drop-off. It's beautiful. For all of you that remember what the drop-off looked like on County Services Parkway, it was like scary to go back there. Now it's so beautiful over there. Okay, and then also we have regional collaboration, right? We are leading the industry in a lot of things. There are only 2 counties that have, in the Atlanta Regional Commission area, that have platinum status with the Green Communities certification. We are one of them. It is very difficult to get platinum status as a county. There are about 80 measures that you have to try to hit, and it is a challenge because we're so big and there's so many moving parts. But I'm really excited to say that we have a great committee, a great group of people that get together, and they actually take my phone calls when, when I'm trying to pull together that application. And so, I'm really proud of what we have been able to accomplish. All right, so how do we do all of that I just described here in Cobb County? Well, here's the thing. You can do glass recycling, right? Thank you to Ripple Glass that came into Cobb County. They have these containers that look just like that. I don't know if you can see the color and all that, but they're purple, like really big containers, and they're all over. Sometimes they're at the Kroger shopping plaza, sometimes at package stores. I know there's one at Kennesaw State University. I think is there one down in Mableton now? Not yet, on the way. And so there's a couple they're all spread around. You can go to rippleglass.com and it will tell you all the locations. It will have a map there and also lists all the locations where you can drop off glass. That is in addition to the glass drop-offs we've already had. So I see a representative from West Rock is here, Smurfit West Rock. And we have drop-offs there. I see a representative here from Powder Springs, and there's a drop-off there. I know Kennesaw has a drop-off, Smyrna has a drop-off. There are a lot of glass drop-offs throughout Cobb County. Also, just FYI, glass is something that can be recycled an infinite amount of times, and it never loses its integrity. A lot of other material that gets recycled, you have to introduce virgin material at some point in order for it to hold its form, like paper, right? But glass can be recycled over and over and over again. Now, the problem with glass is that it contaminates everything else and everything else contaminates it. So we have to separate it. But we have like 5 fiberglass plants right here in Georgia. Okay, let me back up. Actually, 4 fiberglass plants. One of them sits right on the line of Alabama, so we in Georgia claim it. So we say we have 5, okay? But we do have a lot of opportunities here to process glass. We have our mini charm center that's already up at our drop-off that's across the street from my office. And I'll talk about that in a second because I'm not at that part of the slide, but I'm so excited about that sign, I could barely wait to get to that portion so I could tell you about it. We have our Hefty Renew program. And so that program is where we're able to take hard-to-recycle plastics, like your polypropylene, your polystyrene, like your 4, 5s, and 6 plastics. And those type of plastics are things like plastic shopping bags, or things like straws, or plastic utensils, things that are hard to recycle. What most people think they can recycle, and they throw it in there, and that's what we call wish cycling. And then what we realize is that we can't recycle that, and then it just contaminates the rest of the load, technically. And so we can take those items in our program called the Hefty Renew. You can go to any grocery store, like Publix, Kroger, Walmart, Target, any of those stores in Cobb County, and purchase the bags, and then put all those items in that bag, tie it off, but make sure the bag is full. Like, you know, you don't want to waste your money buying the bags and then like it's a half full bag. So tie it off and then put it in your recycling bin if your hauler participates. If your hauler does not, there are multiple drop-off options that you can find on our website. And then we do things like our HHW, Household Hazardous Waste event. That's coming up October 18th at Jim Miller Park. Registration is open now. Please register because there's limited availability in spots. We have our community recycling event. That's coming up on November 8th, and that will also be at Jim Miller Park, and all that information is on our website. Our integrated governmental structure, these are the departments that are a part of that structure: our water department, our parks department, DOT, our sustainability, waste, and beautification, fleet, facilities management, or facilities maintenance. It used to be called property, but now they're facilities. Community development, libraries, and senior services. So we all get together on a monthly basis or a quarterly basis, and we're able to come up with the sustainability initiatives and programs that we want to see internally. And then, of course, we're going to move to the third thing here, our sign. So listen, we collected all of those hard-to-recycle plastics with the Hefty Renew program, and then we sent it to a facility that was able to turn them into cinder blocks, basically turn them into building blocks. And the new sign that's over at our recycling drop-off, what we call our mini charm center, is made out of that material. I mean, how cool is that? And I mean, if you pick one of these things up, it like really feels like, I mean, it's not going to blow away in the wind. It really feels like a cinder block. And so our whole sign is made out of that, and we're really proud of that and excited that the material that we collected, so like if you guys participated in the Hefty Renew program, you helped build that sign. And we also, like I said, we are platinum status with the Green Communities application. What are our challenges? Well, there's a number of them. So challenges with sustainability: climate change, resource depletion, microplastics. There's a debate going on right now with microplastics. You got some people who say that all of us everywhere consume about a credit card's worth of plastic every week through what we eat, what we're breathing in, what we drink. Then some people say, no, that's too high of a number. It's really about 52,000 particles of plastic per year. Okay, whatever you want to, however you want to break that down, the reality is that we are all consuming plastic. And we have plastics in our brain and in our bodies. So we have to really try to figure out how we mitigate what is happening in our world. Then we have some social challenges, right? Poverty, inequality, a lack of sustainability awareness. I mean, raise your hand if you've been somewhere and you spent more than a second trying to figure out where to put the item that you have in your hand. Should it go over here in the recycling bin, or should it go over here in the garbage? Everyone in this room should have their hand raised, because if I have my hand raised, I mean, of course, that happens. Why? Because when I travel to other places, I may not know what their recycling landscape looks like. They may take something or not take something that we can take here, or maybe we can't take here. It's confusing. So having uniformed messaging would be helpful to consumers in knowing where to put material. Funding, right? We have some economic challenges, funding, regulatory. Sometimes businesses are unsure about how to handle things or how to report things. Organizational and strategic challenges. Stakeholder engagement. Thank you all for being here this evening. By the way, please give yourselves a round of applause. All right. Reporting, as I just mentioned. Lack of data and information, you know. We here in Cobb County, we voluntarily joined the MMP program, that's the Municipal Measurement Program, which is no longer required by the state for communities to participate in. So we don't have good data from all of the counties and all of the municipalities. So I just told you all of that. I'm about to tell you some more. So for those of you who have seen me in other presentations, you may notice this slide. This is a very impactful slide. I use this slide a lot because let's talk about this. How much time and space do we really have? Why do I really do everything that I do? Well, here's the thing. Obviously, this is a map of the United States. Every single one of the red dots are already landfills that are closed. Every single one of those white or gray dots are landfills that are scheduled to be closed in the next 5 to 10 years. The pandemic severely changed our waste management landscape in this country. I'm sure all over the world, but we definitely know it changed in this country. About 5 years ago, we did this research, and we found out that we had about 62 and a half years left of lifespan on landfills across the United States. So if you averaged up all the landfills and you figured out how much time we had about 62 and a half years left. And then 5 years later, after the onset of the pandemic, we did the same research and found that we now only have 30 to 50 years of landfill space left. And guess where Georgia is in that range? We are all the way at the bottom. We have about 30 years left of MSW, that's municipal solid waste landfills, in the state of Georgia. And there are some communities that are closing their landfills to their surrounding counties that are around them to preserve their landfill for their own residents. Now, it protected their landfill for their residents for future generations, but what happens to communities that don't have a landfill? How many of you know that Cobb County has no open active landfills? By raise of hand. Okay, got some of you, about half of you know we have no open active landfills in Cobb County. Every single piece of trash that we throw away in this county gets transported outside of the county. We don't really have control of where it's landfilled and how that works. And the scary thought is, what if one of those counties just says one day, hey, we can't take your material any longer? What does that mean for us? So my job is not to scare you. I'm sure that probably, I hope you don't have nightmares tonight. However, my job is to make sure that we are educated and we know and we understand. We have ways of mitigating how much material is actually being landfilled. I mean, we have a representative here. Kristen, raise your hand. Thank you, from GFL. GFL does a lot of recycling over there at the transfer station. We have a representative here tonight from Smurfit West Rock. They do a lot of recycling. We have options to recycle. We have to get our recycling rates up so that we're able to process material and divert it from just going into landfills that are closing at rapid speeds. Okay, this is another slide I love. Thank you so much, Smurfit West Rock. I took your slide. This slide says a lot. So first of all, let's just look at the first line here, OCC. Does anybody know what that stands for? Not anybody in the industry. No. Lower your hand, Kristen. Okay, OCC stands for Old Corrugated Containers. Old corrugated containers are basically cardboard when they're done being used. In 2021, we were getting $85 per ton to move and process OCC. In 2022, $160. It's like, okay, well, we're going in the right direction here, right? And then in 2023, the bottom drops out, $35 a ton. In 2024, $110. Okay, we're moving back in the right direction, right? This year so far, $80 a ton. Here's the thing. Businesses are not in business to lose money. Whenever I get a phone call and someone says, why do I have to pay for recycling? I'm doing the right thing for the environment. Why can't it just be free? This is why. Because it's like the stock market. It's ebb and flow. It's up and down. If you have too many years of only $35 per ton, like in 2023, what happens? It gets passed to the consumer, right? I mean, that's just naturally what's going to happen. So there's ebb and flow here with this market, just like anything else. But when one door closes, my grandmother used to always say, a window opens. I always wondered why it wasn't another door. Anyway, the point is that when you get to plastics 3 through 7, right? It's kind of down towards the bottom. That number was 0 for many, many, many years before we even started doing this slide here. And that was because people really didn't want those plastics. Those are the plastics that are considered hard to recycle. However, in 2023, when everything else, the bottom fell out, I mean, like look at mixed paper. They're like, we don't even want that at all. Don't even bring it here. Keep that at home. So you come down to plastics 3 through 7, all of a sudden you're like, oh, we'll pay you $15 a ton. Why is that? Because programs like the Hefty Renew and other innovative programs that figured out how to use that plastic and make it a resource made the commodity desirable. People wanted to get their hands on that plastic now. And so that's what I mean when we have innovation that happens, it really helps our communities. And one of the things that we were able to do when we got the program, only 2 locations in all the United States actually got this program when we got it back in 2017. And I had been here not even a year yet, I think. So when we got this program, only 2 locations, Boise, Idaho, and Cobb County. We were the first county. We were the first to do a curbside in drop-off. We were the first on the East Coast. We helped grow the program around us. It went to Chattanooga, it went to Paulding, and it went to Cherokee and Gwinnett, and now it's in London, Ontario, Canada, and it's in Ohio, and it's just in a number of places. And part of the reason why it grew so well was what we were doing here with that program. So once again, give yourselves a round of applause or a pat on the back, because y'all did an amazing job. Thank you. So, if I showed you this, would you know what that was? Most people do. It's the Venn diagram that shows us sustainability, right? That middle triangle is what most people describe as sustainability. Sometimes they call it the 3 E's, where they replace the word society or community with equality, right? And so then we know economics and we know environment. But what if I told you that there is a better framework to look at sustainability so that you could understand exactly how to implement it in your life and in your community? So in Denmark, there is a designer brand called Project Nord. They came up with the 5 C's of sustainability success. I like their 5 C's of sustainability success because here's what it says. It has, let me read this to you. In the quest to build a sustainable future, it's no longer enough to be merely environmentally conscious. We need a holistic approach that integrates every aspect of our lives. The 5 C's of sustainability: clean, community, culture, care, and collaborative partnerships / governance present a comprehensive framework to guide us towards a more sustainable future. I mean, I don't think I could have said that any better if I said it myself. Right, and if you know me, right, laugh at that. That's funny. Okay, so Let's talk about clean, right? What does it mean? It's an acknowledgement of our responsibility to nurture and protect our planet, right? We're talking about clean energy, reducing waste, minimizing our carbon footprint, and we're doing this through practices like recycling, composting, and conserving water. As I mentioned earlier, we have Al Curtis in the room, who's helped us with a lot of EV infrastructure projects. We are currently working on some EV infrastructure projects right now that we would love to see get up and going. If you go to some of our library locations, even the parking deck here at our building here at 100 Cherokee, you will see electric vehicle charging stations that were defunct because of the software that are now in operation because we were able to get the EECBG grant going and use that money to be able to upgrade our electric vehicle charging stations that are public facing, by the way. So thank you so much, Al. We also are looking at solar energy, right? What does that mean? How are we going to manage some of our projects around the county that, being able to use solar energy to kind of support a growing demand on our energy grid. Recycling and composting. Elise McDonald, please stand, wave. Okay, so Elise is our new recycling coordinator, yay. And Elise comes with a background in ecology and a bunch of things that really help her be able to implement recycling and composting. And here's what's so cool. Elise is working on a composting program for residents in Cobb County. The first time ever that Cobb County residents will be able to participate in composting right here. We have a composting workshop that's coming up soon. All right, so if you guys want to join that conversation and learn about, composting, please reach out to us, go to our website, call Elise or send her an email, and we'll be more than happy to include you in that conversation. Also, water stewardship, right? That's something that we're looking at, conserving water. Water stewardship, listen, our water department is awesome. They do a lot in the community. They educate people. They have, their water stewardship team. They go into schools. They, clean up our waterways. I mean, there's just so much. If you just go to the website for the water department, you'll see all the stuff that they do over there, and it is awesome. And we work really hand in hand with them, where we do adopt a mile, that means that we clean up the roadsides. They do adopt a stream, and they clean up the waterways, and it's an awesome partnership. Community basically is talking about how sustainability is not a solo endeavor, right? It necessitates collective action. The fact that you guys are all here this evening collectively, right? You're a part of this tapestry of our community trying to really make a difference, right? It's mutual support. It's the power of community. Let's talk about some of these slides here. At the top right, this is the District 4 Earth Day cleanup a couple of years ago. This program has grown and grown and grown. When we first started it, I don't remember how many people we had at this cleanup, maybe 50, maybe 70. Last year, 500 people showed up to help us do this cleanup. It was amazing. I mean, we have great food, we have a DJ. I don't know, we might need to have a dance-off competition next time. Hey, listen, if you guys want to join and participate, we are doing this county-wide this year for America 250th. So everyone knows, I'm sure, that in 2026, America turns 250 years old, and we're doing a huge push to clean up America for her birthday. So it's our job to clean up Cobb County. And so we're going to be doing this everywhere. So please go to our website or give us a call, and you can find a location near you. The next picture down is one of our past staff members who was helping us plant trees. We do a lot of tree planting and gardening as well. And then at the bottom, that is Chairwoman Cupid. This is our Sustainability Expo event that we host each year, and that event has grown as well. So I'm really just like, my heart is warm to see so many people that are really engaged in trying to learn more about what we're doing in Cobb County with sustainability, and really getting to, for us to hear your voices as well. I think that's very important. Culture. I like this one, right? Culture is about embracing diversity, right? It's about moving from consumption to conservation, or exploitation to appreciation, right? It values diversity and respects nature and prioritizes welfare, right? Our welfare. How are we doing within our community? Your culture is your brand. I think that's a slogan we should probably use. Your culture is your brand. You want to use that slogan? Okay. Care. Really, I could sum this slide up by just saying this is basically the Venn diagram I showed you before, but it's just one piece of the 5 C's of sustainability, instead of it being the whole thing, right? So care is at the heart of sustainability. We care for the environment, care for each other, care for future generations. Our environmental impact, this means we're considering the environmental impact of our actions. As I stated earlier, when you take and throw something away, most of us don't think about that when we throw something in the trash. I mean, I do, right? I'm always dumpster diving, looking to see if there's recycling in a dumpster as I pass by it, or a trash can. I can't help myself. However, it's important. It's important to know that every time we throw away a piece of trash here in Cobb County, it goes outside of this county to be landfilled, right? That's something we should think about when we do throw something away. Make use of our recycling containers here so that we can, mitigate that. And then the last C is collaborative partnerships. Oh, sorry, that looks terrible. That says collaborative partnerships in governance. And that basically means embracing sustainable practices, reducing energy use, minimizing waste, and promoting equality. And we're doing that by prioritizing transparency, accountability, and ethical decision-making. All of these things are already a part of our Cobb County strategic plan. I noticed that when I read that, I thought, well, that's amazing, because we did all that work on our strategic plan, and these were the things that were identified. So we're already well on our way to fulfilling the 5 C's of sustainability. I just listed a few of the partners that I know about in our department, and this isn't even all of them. And I apologize to anyone in the room or who's on YouTube right now looking at this video if I did not put your name or company name up there, but just know you got to charge it to my head and not my heart, because that's what they say. But just know that, there's so many partnerships that we have in order to try to get things done. I love what I do, and I'm more than happy to get up here and speak and, and lead a discussion on sustainability work. But everyone in this room, to me, is a partner. I have team members here this evening. Dawn and Elise, please stand again. Please, yes, give them a round of applause, please. Most people see me out front, right? But I have a team of people who are, backing me up, that are helping me make sure that we're doing all the things that we need to do in order to make our community more sustainable. So I'm going to run down this real quick and thank some of these people here. Our Waste Haulers Association, Smurfit West Rock, GFL, Tag Grinding, Georgia Power, Cobb EMC, Jacobs Engineering, Atlanta Regional Commission, Georgia Recycling Coalition, Cobb County Chamber of Commerce, the Braves, Truist Park, Cobb County Governmental Departments, Keep America Beautiful, Keep Georgia Beautiful Foundation, Eco Sneakers, hey Eco Sneakers, Cobb County School System, Kennesaw State University, I think I see them in the back of the room as well, Keep Cobb Beautiful Inc., Okay, listen, I think I saw a few of my other board members kind of trickle in later. Can y'all stand back up again just so that we can give you a round of applause as well? All of the Keep Cobb Beautiful board members, please. Please, thank y'all so much. Y'all are amazing. I'm telling you, I have the best board ever. Like, they come out and help and support and do all kinds of stuff. The South Cobb Lions Club, Allstate Community Task Force, Mableton Improvement Coalition, Kids Care. I think I see Kids Care here. Hi. Ripple Glass, Georgia Forestry Commission. Like I said, that's just a few. There's so many partnerships, and that's what's important. Partnerships are important because one person cannot, save the world by themselves. It's having that collective, collaboration and community that helps us do that. So what's our action plan? So we're doing some audits and benchmarking. We're working with a consulting group, JCI and KPMG, and they're helping us pull together all of the data and information, right? We're evaluating our current strengths and our weaknesses and growth opportunities in order to make sure that we are sustainable moving forward into the future. Set clear goals, identify areas to implement innovative, sustainable solutions, and then strengthen the culture of sustainability county-wide, right? Build the Cobb County Sustainable brand. How do we do that? Why, of course, with all of your help, right? So our sustainability planning. CP. Our sustainability planning committees. Input. Soon, our consultants are about to do surveys, and we're going to do some open dialogue and forums for our residents, for Cobb County residents, to talk about what you would like to see happen as far as sustainability here in Cobb County. And we really want your input. Okay, just like this evening, when I finally get done, which I'm almost done, yay, I'm gonna go quiet, and then I'm gonna let you guys ask me questions and try to engage with you to figure out what you want to see, right? Participate in initiatives. You can recycle, you can plant trees, you can volunteer for litter cleanup, you can participate in our senior home beautification projects, which is brand new, by the way. We go out to seniors who have mobility issues and we beautify their front yards, and it's amazing. And we're about to do this again. I am on November 14th. So if you want to come out and help play in the dirt and get a senior's home looking beautiful for the holiday season, please feel free to reach out to me and give us a call. Use the EV infrastructure that Al graciously put in for us. Thank you, right? It's here. We're ready to go with it. Adopt a mile or adopt a stream. And educate your neighbors, right? You guys are like pioneers. You're out here first, listening and engaging. Go back home and educate everyone around you in your community about sustainability and what we can actually do to make sure that we're sustainable. And then once again, strengthen the culture of sustainability countywide. Help to build the Cobb County Sustainable brand. How else can we get involved? Recycle. Participate in the Hefty Renew program. We talked about that. Oh, you can go to our website. We have a whole bunch. I know that it's very tiny. It's very tiny. But we have a lot of events that are coming up. We put this out on a quarterly basis. So these are all of our fall events. You can schedule or request us to do a pop-up drop-off. We won an award for this past year. We have trucks and we have trailers, and we go out and tailor-make a recycling event for your community. If you want to focus on glass, or you want to focus on hard-to-recycle plastics, or you want to focus on cardboard, we'll come pick it up. We'll educate the community members about how to recycle and where to go, and then we'll drive it over and drop it off for you. So, participate in that program as well. All right, now we're at questions. Who has questions for me? Yes.
What percentage of Cobb County residents recycle?
Oh, that's a good question. Now, here's the thing. Remember what I told you, that we don't have one way of reporting, right? So we get reports from our MRF about how much material is passed through, and most people use the United States average, which is about 30%. But honestly, nobody really knows what the actual percentage is because there's not any uniformed reporting. So we report through MMP, It might be a good idea if we could get other communities to report through MMP to kind of benchmark ourselves and see where we're at. We currently say we're about at 30%, but I don't know. I mean, Steve, would you like to help answer that question? No?
Put me on the spot, right?
Sorry, Steve.
That's all right, I'm kidding. It's just hard to really find out what that true number is with so many haulers. It's not mandated in the county that you have to recycle, so it's tough. But that 30% mark is probably pretty decent. You know, a lot of times we find in the lower educated areas, less recycling, higher educated areas, more recycling. But I'd say 35% is probably safe.
Oh, MMP stands for Municipal Measurement Program. So it's the program that used to be mandated by the state, but now it's just voluntary. We do still participate in that, but not every community does. Yes.
Could you address the tree ordinance that we have? Could you address the tree ordinance that we have here in Cobb County? You mentioned climate change, urban heat island effect could have been mentioned as well. We've got a lot of parking lots in the county that have 0 trees in them. And one of the problems I see with the ordinance is that it doesn't provide for maintenance of those trees. And so I don't know if you or Commissioner Cupid would like to address that.
So we have what we call the Cobb Tree Program. I'm sure you're very familiar with that. So this is the program where if a large developer comes in and has to clear cut the land for whatever reason, if they're not able to place back all the trees that they clear cut, which obviously they would not be able to because that's the reason why they clear cut, to put something there, they are required to pay into the tree fund. And then that fund comes through my budget in our office, and we're able to do tree plantings. Now, what our goal is to replace the trees, even though they're not necessarily at the same location where they've been cut down from, but we often partner with schools. We plant trees at all of our county buildings and facilities, stormwater areas, and of course our parks locations. I would say, yes, we are looking at, we had a climate assessment done a couple of years ago in partnership with Georgia Tech. And one of the things that we identified was parking lot, canopy. And so that's something that we're definitely looking into. It's not always possible to place trees back, obviously, where they were cut down from, but trying to mitigate that by placing trees in areas where we can, like parks and in, in communities and at schools and just a number of places to try to help mitigate some of that.
Thank you. I appreciate the suggestion. At least once a year, we update our county code. And so looking at our parking policy, it may be a policy that doesn't require a change of code, but if it does, I just took a note that that's something that we consider. And I would just ask when we have the sustainability plan that there's some policy recommendations that are given to the board so that we can look at this proactively when we change our ordinances. Right now, all of the ordinances that are in consideration for this year have already moved forward, and those will be out for the public in early October. But I really appreciate you sharing that suggestion, which is why forums like this are important.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
Thanks for all your hard work. I know you work really hard on this. I love your passion. I was surprised when you told me that all the trash in Cobb County that we discard is shipped out of the county. So I was wondering if you could give me a little more information just for my own personal knowledge that I can share with our families and everything that we connect with. But how long have we been doing that as a county, shipping our trash out? And does it go to one spot, or is it multiple locations that is shipped to?
Okay. So our landfills have been closed for a while now. I mean, way before I came here. I want to say, did they close like in 2009? I think it's, I'm sorry? Yes. So somewhere between 2000 and 2009. I apologize, I don't have the exact date. But they have been closed for a long time. And so our material is, most of our material, not all of it, because obviously we are an open market. I think most everyone in here knows that as an open market, unless you live in a city where you might have a franchise or a system in place where that city works with one particular hauler. If you live in unincorporated Cobb County, it's an open market, which means that you have the ability to call any of the haulers that can provide service. Those haulers can also provide service in other counties. So sometimes they may provide service and their route may start in Cobb but then end up in a neighboring county. And so then they would not drive all the way back to the center of the county to drop to us. Sometimes they drop where they are. But we do have a lot of people who drop material at GFL, which is our transfer station on County Services Parkway. And then the material is moved from there to a landfill outside of our county for sure. And honestly, I don't know that this happens often, but it has happened once where the landfill that the material was being taken to could not take our material, and so it had to be trucked all the way to Alabama. And so if you can only imagine the greenhouse gas emissions and everything that happens when that occurs.
That troubled me sitting here and hearing it too. And there are some practical considerations and there's also financial considerations. If your waste has to be moved somewhere else, then the cost for us to put our sanitation to the curb also takes into consideration the cost to transport it somewhere else. And so that's something to think about. And also something that I've had to be confronted with during my service as chairwoman is that we also have a waste product that comes out of our water treatment process. And that was being shipped out of the county, in fact, out of the state. And I had residents from out of the state reaching out to me, confronting me about why they're handling our waste. So, this is something that we are looking to address in our water treatment process, but it makes me realize that we can sit here and just put our stuff in a bag and think it goes away, but somebody's dealing with our stuff, really. And I appreciate just listening to you today because it's forcing me to have to be more mindful of it, and hopefully it forces all of us to be better stewards of this process.
I just want to answer. I'm sorry, Kristen. I know she's shy. She doesn't want to be on the spot. Can you tell me can you answer if the material goes to more than one landfill or just one? Just one. Okay.
Thank you so much for doing this tonight. This is the nugget that just shocked me too. About I had no idea that we have no landfills, and then I'm thinking so much what your messages, Chairwoman, the ethics of it's an ethical question for me. I have 3 questions though. I'll just do one at a time. Some of the haulers that you mentioned, I live in an unincorporated area, and they claim that they recycle. Do you have any, I kind of wonder about that. So my first question is, how can I verify that they actually recycle what they say they do? And some, to your point, eloquently stated, some take something or one thing, and we have a Ripple glass near us, thank heaven, so I can drop that off. But my hauler says they do paper and I think aluminum. But how, do you have a list that I could say, oh, so-and-so really does do this?
So we have, he's smiling at me in the background there. I'm not gonna put you on the spot. Okay, so we have a list of the haulers that do drop off to the MRF that's right across the street from my office on County Services Parkway. So there are haulers that do pick up and they do drop off. I will tell you that all material that goes to West Rock or Smurfit West Rock is recycled. I know that there's a lot of people out here with like this aha moment, or sometimes they like read an article from someplace else in the country and then they attach it to us here. But what people need to understand is that recycling is very regional. And sometimes even within a region, it could be different, right? We accept hard to recycle plastics here in Cobb County. If you go to the other side of Atlanta, they don't, because the MRF that handles their material won't take hard to recycle plastics. Luckily for us, our MRF will. And so really, I would say the best thing to do is to reach out to your local MRF to verify what material can be taken in the community where you are. That's the first thing. Second, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Material Recovery Facility. We really love acronyms in this business. And then I talk with acronyms all the time. I apologize. I know I'm like MMP, HHW, MRF.
Who's my MRF?
Okay.
Who's the MRF for Cobb
So
County?
the Material Recovery Facility in Cobb County is managed and operated by Smurfit West Rock. And so I would say that that the haulers pick up the material and they bring it to Smurfit West Rock. If material is contaminated, and a lot of times that does happen, you know, if material is contaminated, then it ends up having to be taken to the dump, to the transfer station, because it's going to cause a problem for all the other material. And when I say contamination, I think a lot of people think about things like food waste or something like that. I mean, we've seen bowling balls and, you know, electrical cords and irons. Yeah, let's talk about plastic bags. We can take them in the Hefty Renew program. It's a great program, but they have to be in the Hefty orange bag in order for them to be captured. If you just put that plastic bag loose in your recycling bin, that's considered contamination as well, because what it's doing is it's wrapping up on the equipment at the MRF, and it's causing problems for their staff and their flow in order to be able to process material.
Thank you. So my neighbor takes his recycling to a single source center that is Cobb. I don't take mine there, but is that part of this program?
So do you mean like he's dropping it off to like one of the drop-off centers, like at Smyrna or at County Services?
County Services.
Yes, so the county services drop-off, which is what we call the Cobb County Recycling Drop-Off Center, is Smurfit West Rock. So that material is still being processed the same way, so absolutely yes. And some people, either their hauler, for whatever reason, is not taking all of the material that they would like to recycle, and just in general, drop-offs can take more. You know, for example, you can't put glass curbside, but you can bring it to a drop-off. So some people just bring all of their material to the drop-off, but just know it is getting processed.
And that does, it can be mixed together, is my understanding.
All technically, okay, that's okay. We're done now. Technically, all Cobb County recycling material is single stream. It can, well, besides glass, it can be dropped off, like when you put it in your bin. If you have a hauler that is taking it curbside, it's all together there, and then it's dropped off, and then they separate it at the facility. But if you take it to the drop-off, sometimes you will see containers that are labeled specifically for cardboard, or, you know, of course, glass. The Hefty Renew container is over at the one on County Services as well. And it's just a couple of, I think there's a textile over there, books or something. I mean, there's a couple of, you know, containers there that can take it.
And last, I think this one's easy. I would love to get a pop-up at my HOA, and, you know, for just one thing. Like, I'm thinking like at the pool, all of the aluminum cans that they use at a party. Who would we talk to get that scheduled?
Okay. Me. Okay, now us. So Dawn Smith, who's sitting here, and also Elise McDonald. So they both work on the team with me. They can schedule a pop-up drop-off. Now, it's not a permanent solution. It's just like right. It's like a special event, and then we can come out and we'll bring our trailer and collect the material, and then educate the community members about how to recycle and where they can recycle and all that good stuff. And then we'll haul it off for you.
Hello.
Hi.
This is Thad with Parkland Cycles. Really two questions. Well, first one was a comment. Thank you for telling me about the Charm Center, because I have a growing number of lithium-ion batteries that I am trying to find something to do with that I can't do anything with. Secondly, I saw a list on there of preferred businesses that you're working with Cobb County. As the changing landscape of mobility, EV mobility, micromobility, and stuff like that happens, how are you pursuing like new companies that come onto the landscape that might fit into that sustainability ethos and stuff like that, and that you could bring on to Cobb County and show as a better, more engaging, more forward, future-looking Cobb County working with other companies?
Yes, so one of the things that we started, our second annual Sustainability Expo really kind of shone a light about all of these amazing companies and nonprofits and just everyone who they're here. They're already here. They're in Cobb County. Either they're headquartered here, or they service, or they have a product that they provide to residents here. Thank you for joining our Sustainability Expo. One of the things that I would like to stress this evening is that we are very, very soon moving to the residential or the community portion of our consultants who are helping us build our sustainability plan. So we have done this internally with our internal departments, but we're about to turn this loose to the public. And when that happens, we need voices like yours to say, I would love to see, some of these alternative modes of transportation opportunities be available to Cobb County residents. And I'd love to see this for this reason or that reason, and I'd love to see this at this location or that location. So I really welcome your input when that message goes out. And just please look for that information to be coming pretty soon. And there'll be surveys, there'll be open dialogue, and we'll definitely be able to build our culture as our brand. We're building our brand.
I think it is so great that Cobb has now an office dedicated to sustainability. I think as a citizen, that makes me really excited that that's been something that you guys have committed to. I also love the recycling drop-off facility, the new one. Yes. It's so clean, it's so easy to get in and out of. I like that you can drive around the circle and kind of drop your stuff off as you go. I've been using it for years, but something that I do see is not everybody is as diligent as us in this room about cleaning and dividing their materials, making sure they're not contaminated, and putting them in the right spots. I've seen plenty of times when I go in there, bags of trash dumped in a large container, and things that are not sorted properly. So it would break my heart if that had to be tossed because of that. So at that facility, what do they do to combat that? And can we feel good knowing when we take the time to separate out all these materials and drive them all the way down there, can we feel confident that all those materials are being recycled, even if other people don't necessarily understand how to do it right and might be spoiling the bunch of apples for the rest of us?
So I'm going to answer in two ways, and then I'm going to, if Steve wants to answer, but I'm going to say, first of all, yes, your material is still being processed. One of the ways that we do that, and sometimes it's not popular, is that we close the recycling facility down and we allow it to be open during times where we can watch it. And I realize that that is not popular because people want to be able to go at night or on Sunday, but if it's just not possible, I think it's more important for us to protect the integrity of this material, the majority of the material that's being collected, than, for us to allow this one-off situation situation to ruin that whole, container of material. Also, I would say that when you drop your material off, and let's say someone puts the cardboard box in the plastic container, or they put the plastic in the, in the cardboard box container, or the mixed paper. The great news is that Smurfit Westrock has a lot of really cool equipment and technology in place that they can separate and process this material. And so the majority of all that material is really being recycled and it's being sent to the proper place. If there are bags of trash in there, that's gonna go to the landfill. And it could potentially, contaminate some of the material that when it's being pulled out of the system, it could potentially contaminate some of the other materials. So yes, we wanna make sure that we are not allowing bags of trash to go into the recycling drop-off. I mean, that's what the transfer station is for. They can drive down there and drop it off there. But if you'd like to answer, Steve.
First of all, thanks, Kimberly, for even putting this together. You do an excellent job. And these are really good questions. And you're never putting me on the spot. I was only kidding. Anything that comes to the drop-off center is going to come across the line. So we are going to try to recycle everything that comes out. And for the most part, the people that are in here, those are the people that are going to drive out of their normal way to go drop something off. So I would say 90%, 98% of what comes in there is good stuff. You're always going to have that one bad apple. That one guy on the, has a bag in the back of the truck, forgot to leave his trash out, wants to dump it somewhere. But for the majority of the part, everything's, I'm not going to say everything, most of the material is really good. We're going to try our best to put it across our lines. And yes, we got great technology to kind of capture the materials that we can. That stuff that comes to the new clean drop-off center, we're getting better and better people. We're getting cleaner and cleaner recyclables because of how good it looks now. People do take it serious, so great job.
Thank you. I'm going to interject here just for a moment because I realize, and just hold on to your question, I hate to be rude, but we have Al Curtis, who's our fleet director here, and I wanted to take some liberty and invite you up here because one thing that we didn't talk about, which is a big part of this conversation, is solar and EV usage, and he has really been a leader, not just in the county, but nationally with respect to this. So Al, if you don't mind just coming up here, and we can add that as part of this conversation as well. I can do it. All right, okay. Thank you, Al.
Okay, fire away questions.
Oh, he's just taking questions. You want to talk a little bit about what you've been doing? Just a couple minutes, and then we can go back to questions.
Well, I can talk a little bit about it.
Okay.
Well, we started our sustainability mission, I'll say, over a decade ago. We started with biodiesel. We've used CNG. We have
What
propane.
is CNG? What's CNG?
CNG, compressed natural gas, and of course, propane. So we embarked on our electrification journey over a decade ago. 2014 is when we actually first started. We deployed 16 fully electric vehicles, Nissan Leafs. And you're probably asking yourself, why? Why would we do that as early adopters? We started out before any municipality in Georgia would even put their toe into that water. Because Cobb, we expect the best, so we look at different technologies to make sure that we're being sustainable, that we're looking towards the future, and of course, protecting our citizens. Most people don't know that for every gallon of gas that's being consumed, it emits about 19 pounds of CO2 emission into the air. So you think about that, all the vehicles on the road, and one thing, fleet, what we do is we have about 2,800 pieces of equipment that go about 10 million miles a year. So just think about how much emissions is being produced in those vehicles. So we looked at that and we said, look, we can do a better job. We have to protect these citizens. We have people out here with autism. We have people, our environment's being suffered by all these CO2 emissions. Climate change. People say it's not true. We have all these naysayers. But I know when I grew up, the era that I breathed, I'm dating myself, but I'm pretty old. the air that I breathe was totally different than the air I'm breathing now. And we're bringing children into this. So Cobb County proactively, we as fleet, since fleets produce more emissions in the whole country than anything besides maritime. Maritime, of course, they don't regulate those boats out there on the road. But there are regulations here for vehicles themselves. So we looked at that and said, okay, let's look at the duty cycle of all the Cobb County vehicles that we have, okay, when we adopt electrification. So our duty cycles are between 50 maybe to 100 miles a day. So I said, okay, let's take some of these Crown Vics that go 19 miles, I mean, that actually go 19 miles on a gallon of gas, if that. Some of them did 7 as they actually degraded as far as the use cycle. So we looked at the departments that traveled 50 to 80 miles worth of range and said, okay, electrification would fit that because the Nissan Leaf at that time went 109 miles of range. But realistically, it went probably 90 if you're running air conditioning, running heat, and so on and so forth. So for a whole duty cycle for any of our departments, they could go out, do their job, come back at the end of the day, plug in and charge, and wake up with a full tank. Makes total sense, right? CO2 emission has been totally reduced. We track that as well. We have all our departments where we have a CO2 emission calculator that we put together. Based on the miles traveled, the gallons of gas that they use, we calculate that, and we push that out to some of the departments and say, hey, look, this is how much CO2 you're actually emitting into the atmosphere. We can do a better job. What do they say? Knowledge is power, right? You put the knowledge in their hands, let them do what they need to do to curb that cycle. So fast forwarding, we have over 71 fully electric, battery electric vehicles within the fleet right now, out of about 2,800, roughly about, I'll say 7 to 8% are all battery electric. Our public safety departments have embraced electrification as well. You would think public safety is really hard to change their thought process. You think they want the fast vehicles, the big vehicles, and so on. We've moved electrification in their cycles as well. They have over 180 hybrid electric vehicles within their fleet. You can't tell the difference out there, but they're hybrid electric. So while they're sitting there doing their jobs on their laptops, as you can see, they're idling. They're not idling on gas now. Mm-hmm. They're idling on electric. So our public safety people are embracing that as well. And they have more vehicles on the road than any department. Our sheriff's department's the same way. We have Ford Mach-E's in the fleet. We have Ford Lightnings. We have Chevy Bolts. We have Nissan Leafs. We have the new Chevy EV Blazer in police operation. We have only a few. We're in a test bed with those right now. Also, we also deployed the first Chevy Silverado EV. I don't know if you've seen that. We're talking 300, 400 miles worth of range. So we're moving forward in all the vehicles that we're deploying within our departments to make sure that we stay sustainable. You can talk the talk, but you got to walk the walk. And we work partnership with our sustainability department and moving a lot of this stuff forward. Talk about solar. Keep Cobb Beautiful was one of the first departments that we deployed solar on their rooftop. The synergy was there. They're looking at recycling. They're looking at the environment. So we said, let's put solar on their rooftop. We have solar there, and they have charging stations to charge their electric vehicles. Their department itself is probably 89 to 90% fully electric. And our tax assessors department is about 97% fully electric vehicles within their fleet. So we have departments that we're pushing to embrace that sustainability message. We also have another solar panel that we actually received from a DOE grant. It's a dual type deal.
Department of Energy.
It's solar and it has battery backup storage. So we can actually charge those batteries and use that as a battery backup for our fleet location, our fuel island, and also charge our electric vehicles. And currently we're in process right now, we're talking with Cobb EMC on a microgrid. That microgrid, we're in the area that our fleet is considered an underserved area. With that said, if we go forward with the microgrid, it'll allow us to peak shave when everybody's at home using all the power, they can crank up our generator, help offset that peak charge to those citizens, which will lower their energy cost. So we're looking at all these strategic partnerships to make sure that we're looking out for our citizens and our community. I can talk all day on this, but I'm gonna give the mic up. I'm gonna give it up. But those are the type of initiatives that Cobb County itself, partnering with Keep Cobb Beautiful and Sustainability Department and Chairwoman Cupid, are doing for you, the citizens. So use the charging stations. We got more coming, and I appreciate your time.
Thank you. Okay, yes.
Hi, I have a quick question and I have a quick suggestion. I go with my suggestion first. My suggestions, I was writing my
Yes,
notes.
if you can just bring,
My,
yes,
oh,
thank
can you
you.
hear me? My suggestion is, well, first of all, my name is Yvonne Walker, and I'm a homeowner here in Cobb County. On January the 16th of last year, I lost my daughter, Police Lieutenant Shakia Walker, to breast cancer. That was on her birthday. She was a highly decorated police officer with the College Park Police Department. And so in recognition of her service, the department honored her with a street sign at their headquarters in College Park, and then the city of Smyrna recently dedicated a memorial tree and a plaque in her honor at North Lake Park in Smyrna, Georgia. So inspired by her legacy, I'm proposing a suggestion to adopt an honorary street for public servants program to celebrate the lives of dedicated public servants, you know, while promoting sustainability and community pride. And the purpose is this initiative creates a living tribute to public servants by naming honorary streets after them and engaging the community in their ongoing care. Each adopted street becomes a space of honor, remembrance, and environmental stewardship. So communities to invest in sustainable future. And my quick question was, is Cobb County equipped for homeowners to use a solar panel on, you know, to save energy on their home if they within a homeowners association? And that was my question.
Okay, well, so first I want to say I'm sorry for your loss. And I love your suggestion about, you know, adopting a street or a spot and honoring our, you know, fallen first responders and soldiers, obviously. I mean, it's beautiful, actually. Well, thank you for your service. Okay, so to answer your question, really, if you live in an HOA, yeah, I live in an HOA. Here's the thing about HOAs. You gotta look through your you know, bylaws and your ordinances and all of that good stuff, and you gotta check to see what they allow, right? Because a lot of times when you live in an HOA, they have stipulations that maybe someone who doesn't live in an HOA, you know, they wouldn't have. So I don't know the answer to that question for where you live. You're gonna have to find out from your HOA if you can have a solar panel on your roof. However, if you can have a solar panel on your roof, then there are programs out there that do support. Now, some of these programs are not in operation right now. Some of that funding has dried up over the last 10 months or so. And so, you know, but, you know, there are a few that are out there. If you find out from your HOA that you can, reach out to me. CP, can you move the slides? Can you move the slide? No, the other way. Okay, take a picture of that, reach out to me, and I will try to get you in contact with, you know, those organizations that can support and help residents and churches and other community members with solar.
Hi, my name is, I'm belonging to the East Cape Civic Association. Oh. And I was wondering if you would come to our group to speak.
Oh, Ms. Hong, you know I will come to your group to speak. Listen, Ms. Hong was like one of the first people that came to my office and welcomed me to Cobb County when I got here almost a decade ago. Oh, and you are such a sweetheart. I absolutely will come and speak at your association.
Okay.
Thank you.
I will suggest it, okay? It's not me alone.
I'm sorry, what did you say, Ms. Hong?
No, I would suggest it to our group.
Oh.
Oh, forget.
Yes, ma'am.
And, you know, because I'm not alone, okay?
Okay.
I will tell them.
I'm sure they'll listen to you. I do.
So I have questions about accessibility and planning. So they're relevant to each other. So I'd like to know if you have a committee that helps with ADA, universal design, and how the county is building its sustainability plans to include residents and business owners with disabilities. I'm also interested to know if there will be any transportation upgrades and supports that include residents with disabilities. I mean, just sitting in the room today, there are some accessibility features that do not seem to be considered, even with some of the volunteerism that came up. I don't know how I'd get out on a lake, but I definitely want to be able to support efforts. And then finally, I know these are multiple questions, I'll re-ask if I need to, but I moved to Cobb County out of the necessity to have accessible housing and universal design for myself and my children, but the consideration for those who are disabled is very different in Cobb County. Everything from taxes to access and sidewalks and curb cuts is very different. So, you know, I'm generally just asking about how you're including universal design and keeping people with disabilities included in your planning, and not in spite of it, right? So having them on boards, having them participate in some of the decisions that are being made because we see it, because we live it, and we should be part of it.
Well, first of all, thank you for your question. That was very insightful, and I don't know that everyone thinks about that as we move, you know, into planning for sustainability. But I do think that that is a part of this conversation in tapestry, right? I think that there's definitely room to have this conversation and to add to our sustainability plan. One thing I will say is that Keep Cobb Beautiful hosts 1 million volunteer events all throughout the year, and we are always in need of volunteers. And sometimes it's not about planting a tree. Sometimes it's about sitting at the check-in tent and helping to check in the other volunteers that will be planting the trees. And if you want to come and volunteer with us, we are more than welcome to have you join us. Dawn, please raise your hand. Dawn is usually our coordinator for volunteers. Yes, we can definitely get you signed up. I am more than happy to get as many volunteers as we can get. But I'm going to pass the mic now because I believe Chairwoman Cupid would like to answer your question.
Yes, ma'am, and thank you, Kimberly, and thank you for being here tonight and asking your question. With our Department of Transportation, we do have a transit advisory board that comes together to address some of the things that you have shared today. And a lot of them are persons who ride our paratransit services will come in and make suggestions to the department. They meet every month. So if that is something that you are interested in, my chief assistant can get your contact information. About opportunities to look at property management overall, I think that there is opportunity for us to see how we can make things accessible more for those that need, that may need some of our facilities to be designed differently so they can use them like everybody else. And I don't think that we have active eyes doing that. When we have requests, we do try to meet them on an individual basis. So we've had concerns about accessing our law library, so we changed the configuration to make sure persons can access our law library. I've also had some other questions about how people can cross the street if they're visually impaired. So immediately, we worked with our Department of Transportation. We activated a sound system for where that person lived, and we made that area more safe for persons who are visually impaired. So I've seen us do that on an individual basis when they bring concerns to our attention. But with the committee, like you shared, perhaps we can be more strategic in looking at this regularly. So I'm always one for bringing a team together, so you might be leading one once you leave here today, but I think that is something that I would like to support and appreciate you bringing that to our attention. We're going to get you on a mic. We can't hear you. Yeah.
I appreciate that because otherwise it sounds reactive.
Of course.
And being someone with a disability and part of such a large community, 61 million Americans, whether it's illness, injury, accident, and aging.
Yes.
So I do a lot with the airport. I think it was a founding member like 6 years ago because it didn't exist. And of course, FAA, you know, kind of came in after the fact. And
Yes,
so
ma'am.
rather than being reactive and responding to some of these issues, which are clearly safety related, we don't want to be stuck in the house. We want to be part of this community that we live in, that we pay to live in and participate in. I might not want to sit at a desk. You know, I want to be able to get as close to the work that I want to do, not the work that I'm, you know, relegated to.
Yes, ma'am.
Because I'm in a wheelchair. I haven't always been in a wheelchair. And so I know what it looked like before my wheelchair, and I feel very limited in the things I can do now. And it's not just unfair, it's unethical.
Thank you for sharing that. And again, I know there's work that's being done. We have ADA requirements that we get funding to meet. And that is why they do have that group that meets monthly with our Department of Transportation leadership, because access is very important. Not only is it important, it's required by law for us to make sure that our facilities are accessible by everyone. But still, the best way for us to make sure we have proper services in place is for people to let us know when we don't. So there always is going to be an element of responsiveness or being reactive. But again, I love your suggestion that you shared, because I think we could still be more strategic along the way. And I would love to hear more of your ideas on how we can do that. Yep. Yeah.
Hello, my name is Ifanel Armstrong, and I'm a new resident here, been here a year now. My daughter is in high school and at Marietta High School, and they have a program where they have an MYP project, and they have a certain amount of hours and time that they have to dedicate to a project and volunteer services by their sophomore year, and she entered high school her sophomore year. So she elected to revive a club that lay dormant since COVID, and she is now the president of the Agricultural and Environmental Club at the high school. So my question is, I would love it if you all would have the opportunity or could take the opportunity to come and present at some of her meetings that she hosts. They do cleanups around the school. They have a greenhouse that they're working on now, trying to revive, and she's setting her sights on doing some other things. She is currently doing dual enrollment at KSU and will graduate next year. So I am trying to support her with a lot of community initiatives, provide her a lot of resources. So what she can do is establish this program, that it has a serious foundation and it can go on well beyond her years that she'll be there. So her advisor is Mrs. Logue, and I would love to see if you all could be in contact and encourage those individuals there to be able to get out into the community and be more of an asset and be more helpful and definitely support your initiatives.
Absolutely. First of all, thank you. Thank you
you're
so
welcome.
much for raising a young lady who wants to be in service, obviously, to the environment and to her community. Yes, let me tell you, we have a lot of opportunities for young people to join us. So first and foremost, yes, we will come out and we can definitely come to one of her meetings and present there. We also have what we call an associate board member program as a part of Keep Cobb Beautiful. So what we do is we offer the opportunity for, usually it's like either sophomore, junior, or senior high school students, or freshman or sophomore college students. They spend 2 years on our board with us. They vote, they work with us, and they do a project in the community, whether that's at their school or at their home, like in their neighborhood, and then they're eligible for a scholarship from Keep Cobb Beautiful to help offset the cost of them going off to college. And so we are more than happy to have her join us.
And I'm so sorry. This has been a great conversation. In the interest of time, you've been hanging out with us for about 90 minutes. And it's almost 8 o'clock, so we're going to take our last question for the evening before we wrap up.
All right. Feels like a lot of pressure now.
Make it worth it, Mr. Cafe.
Yeah, so my name's Derek Cafe. One of the things I wanted to know is, have you considered potential incentives for developers and builders when it comes to sustainable building practices, everything from green construction, roofs, bioswales, things of that nature. Have you looked at providing any sort of incentives for developers to incorporate this into their practices, or additionally providing training for builders and developers, because I'm getting ready to propose a mixed-use development, and when I want to put a green roof on one of the commercial buildings, and one of the things I found is there is not a lot of information in the United States regarding green building practices.
So thank you for your question. Yes. So one of the things that we've already identified as we've gone through this process, even internally, with trying to build the sustainability strategic plan, is what kind of incentives do we give to businesses that are wanting to do the right thing? So I will say, on a smaller scale, many, many, many moons ago, Chairwoman Cupid, who at the time was Commissioner Cupid, and I created this green business program. So there was like a checklist of things that businesses would do in the community. So they would adopt, the front of their store, their area. They would be participating in recycling. They would just be doing a number of things, and then we gave them a plaque and a sticker and a decal to put on their front door that they were a green business in Cobb County. And we love that program, right? But how do we take it a step further? So one of the things that I have the pleasure of being a part of is I'm on a board, and I don't know if you guys are familiar with the LBC, Life Cycle Building Center. So they are located in Atlanta, but they are expanding. And one of the things that we are trying to do is help them expand into Cobb County and have a location where construction demolition would be able to be dropped off rather than it being lost to landfills or being left, illegally dumped, because sometimes that happens as well. We're able to collect it and then transport it to the LBC Center, where they are able to clean it up or reuse it, and they sell things at their center for a fraction of the cost. I mean, when I tell you a fraction of the cost, you could buy like entire cabinets or a sink or a refrigerator or just a number of things if you're renovating your home. So there are a lot of opportunities out there, and we're definitely looking to include that. And I would love your input as well as we move forward into this.
Very good. I have a lavalier. Thank you, Kimberly, and let's give her a round of applause. And Al also, as well as we have CP back here from Communications. Let's honor him. We would not be here tonight without him, and also we have Public Safety in the back, keeping us safe and keeping the building open. Thank you so much. And thank you, all of you. This was a great conversation, and I want us to keep the conversation going. So as Kimberly shared, there is going to be a way for the public to provide input into our county's first sustainability strategic plan. If you are not signed up for our newsletter, please, just by a show of hands, let me know if you're getting the newsletter or not. Who is not getting the newsletter? Okay, we will send something out to everybody who has signed in today so you can do that, because our newsletter is going to be what is going to carry the link for this information, as well as, I mean, we have moved into the 21st and beyond century. So we'll have this on social media as well. But the newsletter is a way that you can ensure you get information about what we're doing so we can get this feedback. That's very important because we have a board of 5 commissioners that set policy for the county. Policy is not set by any one of us that serve on the board, which means that it takes a majority of people to vote on it and to move funds to address initiatives here in the county. So as you're providing that feedback, that's going to be helpful for them to see that they have community support for supporting the things that that Kimberly is working on and that Al and others in our organization are working on. So I'm just asking you to help us help this county in doing our part to make sure we're more sustainable. With that, Kimberly, I don't know if you have any parting words for everyone who's here today beyond.
I'm just so grateful that everyone showed up. Thank you guys so much. And most of y'all know me, so y'all could call me if y'all have additional questions even later. Thank you.
Wonderful. And thank you, all of you, for being here. I love it.